The same people who are against APC today once danced on the stage when Buhari was inaugurated. You know, but today in Nigeria is possible.
Wait.
Don't let us be too...
Wait, sorry. What's up with, what did you just do now?
No, I just sang a song. We break dance to the sing, to the dance, and the people, they rejoice. Yeah. They did it for Buhari. You might not support me today, but I want to be 70 and 80, and I see my children enjoying the benefit of the sacrifice I've made today. Because I tell you wholeheartedly, not with any sentiment, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot redirect the ship of Nigeria, no politician currently can do it. You know, somebody was talking with me one day. I know that this one is going to come with another backlash, but let's say it.
Even if you're the strongest person in the world, at some point it must hit you at some point. There are days where you must be down at least, or you don't feel that at all.
I don't feel down, because when you talk too much, I swear for you.
Okay, I've seen that on your Instagram.
No, Mogbe, I shake straight to me, and that is all for me.
So,
you see, the moment you cross that boundary, the boundary of me into my children, my mother, and my wife.
Yeah.
That is why there is nothing on earth that Peter Obi can do that will make me support him.
Did somebody attack your people?
They attacked my children. They attacked my wife.
But it's not him. Those are his supporters, isn't it?
As long as Peter Obi will not call them to order, and he keeps denying that his people are not doing that, he will never let Peter Obi wear the garment of Jesus today. He will never get my support. You know, any organization that doesn't support you to be free thinking is a cult.
Okay, define one of those. Define one of those as we have it in Nigeria.
Obedience now. Really, I don't like to, because I know that this your interview is going to come with a lot of backlash. The Yaradua election is the worst I have ever seen in my entire life. We were still on the queue. They don't announce the result. We still the queue. Baba. So the president has not seen me.
That's what I'm asking. Baba don't see you.
Baba never see me.
You know they pay you. You don't get. Doesn't that hurt? That the person will even.
No, the truth
with all due respect.
I love the branch politics. It doesn't mean that it is the best that we can get, but it's just that the man understands the terrain where he's functioning.
This show is supported by FinServe Pro, your #1 solution as a diaspora African living in the United States. The quickest way to get into trouble in the United States by not doing your taxes correctly or not doing your taxes at all. Many make the costly mistake trying to save money by doing it themselves. You know, in the world of go online, find the solution where you can do it yourself that saves you money. That's exactly where FinServe Pro steps in. Affordable, understandable, and prompt tax filing throughout the year. What a lot of people don't understand is that tax or taxes is not just one season at the beginning of the year. Taxes are all year round, and you need the professionals on your side to tell you what to do. Look, if you did it all year round, just spend a few minutes with your tax professional. It will save you a whole lot of headache later on at the beginning of the year, at the period that you consider the tax season. So just click in the link in my bio or visit www.finserve.pro to get started. Remember, FinServe Pro makes taxes very easy. All right. My guest today was one of the most loved comedians in Nigeria. That is, until he supported the presidential ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then, just like that, he became one of the most hated comedians in a certain cross-section of the country or with a certain cross-section of the people. Now, to be clear, there is still a whole section of people who love him passionately and just adore what he does. They adore his craft. They are his diehard fans. They go out to see his comedy shows. In fact, he's having a comedy show this month in Abuja. But equally now, there's a whole cross-section of people who just love to hate him passionately and are very vocal in their hatred and animosity toward him. But he is nothing if he's not a man of his convictions and a man of his word, because he still stands on the mandate and presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he's very vocal about it too, throwing punches and taking on all comers. And I admire that. Stand for better, for worse, for wrong or right. Be a man of your word, right? On this one, we speak to the very gifted comedian Seyi, who also serves as the Senior Special Assistant on Entertainment and Tourism to the Governor of Ondo State. Now, I should let you know, what you're about to watch is a blend of two interviews with Seyi. The main conversation happened in person in Lagos, but just a few days after that recording, some new developments arose. Seyi was out there again, embroiled in interesting matters. And in the interest of good journalism, we felt that those matters arising, needed to be addressed. So we connected again and we did that bit via, over the internet. We did that bit virtually so that you, the viewer, could get the full picture of the man. This is the Teju Babyface Show Deep Dive. Okay. Awesome. Why so much negative sentiments towards you, really? I mean, I've suffered from that for all my life, and I know why mine.
Like you are a fine boy, why should you be a comedian? you are a rich kid, why should you be a comedian?
Thank you. So you know some of it. So I didn't know all of these things. I was very naive coming from the background that I was coming from. But I know these things about me and towards me. And as you've said, one doesn't really bother about these things. Those are the thorns that come attached to your articles of grace. As a great writer once said, I was given thorns in the flesh to keep me humble. So I know why I get negative sentiments from people. Why do you get so much negative sentiments though?
Well,
translation, what did you...
what did I take from them?
Literally, what did you take from them?
The truth is this. Nigerians don't like people with independent mindsets. They don't like it. If we are not all thinking the same way, then you're automatically against us. So, a man
Maybe I'll make that the headline. Nigerians don't like independent mindset.
The truth is this. Even the politician that I support today probably don't also like it. Some of them don't also like it. I'll tell you why. In 2012, when Jonathan was going to remove the fuel subsidy, there was the rally at Ojota. And I remember going for that rally. And I remember coming on stage when it was time for me to talk. Idris Abdul Karim was actually the first person that came on stage before I was called on stage. And I remember Idris was on stage and he was saying, the bunch, this one that did not come outside, and he supported Jonathan. God, it was just swearing and all those stuff. And when I came on stage and I say, first, Idris no vessel. I say, we not come here to swear for ourselves. We come here to talk to government, not ourselves. You understand?
Yeah.
I say, for me, not be to come out the fuel subsidy be my problem. I say, what are you going to do with the money that is saved from the removal of fuel subsidy? Now, wait till we suppose they ask. We suppose they ask them where they want to put them. Now for education, or now for healthcare, or now for road infrastructure. Saying that the things. As I was saying all those stuff, It didn't go down well with the people who had politicized that movement. And a lot of Nigerians can't think independently. They can't, I'm sorry to say, because you're just following the bandwagon to chant. While they are achieving their ambition, because I tell you, political ambition is it's not a collective ambition, it's an individual ambition, supported by the collective.
Please say that again.
I said political ambition is an individual ambition that is supported by the collective. It is not, a politician came out to say, I'm a politician, isn't because of you. He wants to attain that position. But he needs your support to get there.
So all this die where they die for him?
No, so all this die where they die, you just they make mistake. First, have you seen if his individual ambition is in tandem with your own thought process? Will he give you what you want? Every political support you give is sentimental. It's based on your own sentiment. So if you cannot put your sentiment into the person's ambition and see it, don't do it. People don't understand that, because as I was talking on that stage, the late Yinka Odumake came on stage and collected the microphone from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he said, what I'm saying is not what the people wants to hear.
That's about the nightmare of every performer.
Yeah.
That you're talking and somebody comes on stage and
and I remember after I collected the mic, I went and I granted an interview with Channels TV. And I still hope that I could get a copy of that interview, because sometimes we need to make reference to certain things. I was in 2012. I wish I could still get a copy of that interview, so that if I post it today, the people who think that we're just supporting fuel subsidy removal today, we know that for a very long time, I've always supported fuel subsidy removal. It was just quite unfortunate that Jonathan didn't have the willpower to continue with it. Fuel subsidy was supposed to have been long gone. And I always tell people, if we had cried that tears in 2012, we probably would have rolled over the years now and have moved into a season of joy. And people will say, oh, the Tinubu you support today will also kicked against it then. Hello, is a man's ambition. He wanted PDP out so APC could get there, so that his own ambition to become president can happen. So it is not his fault that PDP was stupid enough not to see beyond themselves. I supported Jonathan in 2014, but that doesn't mean that everything that Jonathan did was right. There was lots of corruption under Jonathan, but then he did something that I like, which was trying to fight the corruption with technology and not just mouth, which brought about TSA. So these are not things that I'm oblivious to. I know them, I understand them, but then where Jonathan was supposed to show that he was the president, which is something that sometimes gets me annoyed in Nigerian politics, where we try to play politics to placate a side of the country because we think the other side of the country is liberal. A lot of our previous president has always worked to placate the North. That was why in 2014, when Jonathan was campaigning, and after years of people telling him to do certain things and he didn't do, and they started bringing money out for campaign, people said, this is our own compensation, and they didn't do the work.
I heard of a lot of that. I mean,
a lot of our colleagues who ate from Jonathan.
So I heard.
You know.
I know
don't be modest. Don't let us be too modest sometimes, because sometimes these our same colleagues that come out to weave the umbrella today, or somehow start to weave cock today, or another political party, and they try to claim that they are saints, are actually not saints. The same people who are against APC today once danced on the stage when Buhari was inaugurated. Easy, but today Nigeria is possible.
Wait.
Don't let us be too...
Wait, sorry. What's up with... What did you just do now?
No, I just sang a song. We break dance now. To the sing, to the dance, and the people, they rejoice. Yeah. They did it for Buhari, but today Tinubu is the enemy. And you know the funny thing, when these people talk, I just laugh. Because for them, they will tell you, if it was Osinbajo that APC brought, that we would have supported Osinbajo, is it not also a Yoruba man? Oh, guys, shut up. Stop being an hypocrite. Because all of you knew that if SPC had brought out Osinbajo, you would have used the baggage of Buhari to oppress him from winning that election. I'm not a fool. But I see beyond all those antics, you know.
You know, I must admire you. And I said this to Daddy Freeze when I interviewed him. I said, whatever else I think about a man, whatever my sentiments are about his politics or his mindset or his behavior or whatever he gives his support to, I will always admire a man that chooses a side and sticks to the side, for better or for worse. You are not a double-minded man. You are a single-minded. I always admire people like that. Stick to your guns, as they say, and you are that. But what I want to ask you is how. Look, I'm pretty much a bold person, but in the face of you were one of the most loved comedians, and ever since you declared your support for APC and the candidacy and the presidency of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there are certain quarters that hate you passionately now.
They don't even support my shows anymore.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, how are you living with? Why would you? Who? When? What?
You know, the thing is, you might not support me today, but I want to be 70 and 80, and I see my children enjoying the benefit of the sacrifice I've made today. Because I tell you wholeheartedly, not with any sentiment, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot redirect the ship of Nigeria, no politician currently can do it. None. Not Atiku, not Peter Obi, none of them. None. Not with what I know about all of them. You know, somebody was talking with me one day. I know that this one is going to come with another backlash, but let's say it. Somebody was talking with me one day and he said you are not supporting somebody. And I said, wait, if you heard that a governor once had a governor's aide, once had about 200 million naira cash in his car, that the governor said he should go and deliver it somewhere. And then the governor claimed that it was for contract. And they caught the person. That would you still support that kind of governor? The person said, now the people that whether they ruin this country, they'll be that. Why will I support such a person? And I said that person is Peter Obi. Google it. That person is Peter Obi. But you don't know about that because you choose to be blind by your followership. I said every
this
time.
This is true and can be confirmed.
Google it. Is now. I said there was a governor who once supported another candidate that wanted to become a godfather until his person fought against him. And the person came out to say that he was demanding for 7.5 billion naira from him for the money he used to support him. And he said, now those APC governors. And I said, that's Peter Obi. That was what Obiano said. And once it is the person they support, automatically it becomes is a lie. But when it is another person, it is the truth. It doesn't work that way. The truth is not selective. The truth, no matter the years, remains what it is. All of you that are shouting about a candidate today, we saw your previous post about the person. You can accuse Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You can accuse him about corruption in Lagos, but you cannot accuse him about his achievements that he didn't achieve in Lagos. And then when you accuse him of corruption, I ask them something. Who is the most prosecuted politician in Nigeria? It's Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One of his famous pictures was when he was sitting in the dock for a CCB trial hearing. Code of Conduct Bureau, and it was in the dock like this. You could search that picture, and they didn't find anything on him to nail him. Obasanjo tried, Jonathan tried. Come on, man.
So are you
can have your sentiments. So I don't say don't have your sentiments. If you have your facts that you want to state, I don't say don't bring it out. Please state it. But in this Lagos that I lived in 1999, And whenever I argue with people or they talk, I simply ask them, do you remember Lekki 98? You remember the RCCG Lekki 98?
No, what happened there?
It was revival. The Lekki 98 was the revival that happened before we transitioned into democracy. That happened in Lekki Beach.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, Lord. So anybody who doesn't remember can't get involved in an argument with me about the transition that happened in Lagos. And it is factual because I remember at that Lekki 98 revival, after the program was done in the morning, and we had to trek from Lekki to Falomo or Balende because there were no cars, there were no buses.
Which of the Lekkis?
Lekki after Jack Monday.
Not even Lekki 1.
Not Lekki 1.
Not Lekki 2.
And the place
As we used to call it then.
And the place people call Osapa London today was a swamp. It was a swamp. Like people were selling fishes at that roadside where you have Mobil filling station today. These are not things that people told me. These were things that I know. I witnessed it. Lekki Phase 1. What was Lekki Phase 1 in 1998? Go and check video of when Tinubu was breaking ground for the second phase of Lekki Phase 1 in 2002. When they built the Oyekon estate that is inside Lekki Phase 1. Do you remember that? A lot of these young people don't. They'll tell you how many estates did Tinubu build. Do they know about Abraham Adesanya estate? Do they know about the schools that he built in Lagos? Who came and changed schools into junior secondary and senior secondary so that schools can accommodate more people? It was Tinubu now. Go and ask of Jubri Martins. They now had the junior secondary school aspect of it, and then they had the senior secondary school aspect of it. A lot of these young people don't know all these things.
But Seyi, you know you can't be doing any more if you were the personal spokesman for President. Anybody who just stumbled into this show right now, maybe they just met halfway, they'll say that I'm talking to the publicity, the senior special advisor on publicity to the president. Why have you carried this thing on your...
No, it's not like I carried it on my head.
Yeah,
the truth is that...
I almost feel like a political interviewer and correspondent.
You know, the truth is that I lived it. I wasn't told. If it was a narration from somebody, I probably will have my doubts too. But because I lived it, I can tell it. We know, if you remember, Ojota to Alausa, the Agidingbi area, you know what that road used to be. You are in traffic in that road for 3 hours until Tinubu came and dualized that place and renamed it Kudirat Abiola Way. Do you remember that road? Do you remember what it used to be?
Mm-hmm.
These are not stories that somebody told us. We know when it was in Lagos that if the car hit somebody in Lagos, the dead body will be there, swollen till almost busting before they will pick it up. We know all these stories. I remember the place that was concession to Oriental Hotel and where we had Civic Center. My school was in Ajose Adeogun behind the Zenith Bank headquarters. Methodist Boys High School. The place that they call Oniru today, which is probably one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Lagos today, where lands go for as much as ₦1 billion now, was an Ilaje place where they were selling fishes, nail, and all those building material. We used to stop by there to eat Morocco feed before the people there were cleared. We know all these things. I lived it. Dump sites where we had Oriental Hotel used to be dump sites where if people die in the water just have a way of bringing their body to that dump site. And every other week we come to hear that somebody's body has been found in that place. These were things that I witnessed. I wasn't told. Do you understand me? So you cannot bring me to dispute what I witness because you don't like the person. No, you can't do that to me. I'm not talking as a politician. I'm talking as a living witness of what happened in Lagos. The BRT buses that we're enjoying today, I was one of the comedians who was called to sensitize people about BRT.
So all of this is your passion for Nigeria?
It is just purely based on the passion that I want to see a Nigeria that can be like, where we can have more states. replicate what has been in Lagos.
Okay. But how do you deal with the hate? I mean, all of these things you have said, this is your truth now. This is your objective, at least your personal truth as you see it to be objective. It's different from the hate that is directed towards you. Even if you're the strongest person in the world, at some point it must hit you at some point. There are days where you must be down at least, or you don't feel that at all.
I don't feel down because when you talk too much, I swear for you.
Okay, I've seen that on your Instagram.
No, I shake straight to me, and that is all for me.
So
it doesn't. One of the good things that God has done for me is that my anger doesn't last long. My anger doesn't last long. Personal anger for me doesn't last long. Yeah. The only place where my anger can last long with you is when you leave me to attack my children, my wife, my mother. You see, the moment you cross that boundary, the boundary of me into my children, my mother, and my wife.
Yeah.
That is why there is nothing on earth that Peter Obi can do that will make me support him.
Did somebody attack your people?
They attacked my children. They attacked my wife.
When you say they who?
They, the Obedients.
But it's not him. Those are his supporters, isn't it?
As long as Peter Obi will not call them to order and he keeps denying that his people are not doing that, he will never let Peter Obi wear the garment of Jesus today. He will never get my support. I'm not one, you see, he hate me, love me. It is my personal way of life is between me and God. Do you understand me? If hating you for hating me will not make God like me, so be it. But I will not come with hate first. But when you bring hate, no. There are people who need to be cautioned. There are certain things, like, for example, people will say, oh, he's supporting APC. I don't support APC and then I support all the nonsense that some of the supporters will do. No, I'm not. That's why when MC Oluomo was seen on live saying something about Yachi Nedu, I commented and I said, no, this should not be done. We should allow the election to go the way, it should go. And I see so many self-righteous people started rising. Even people that I knew in this Nigeria that at one point, we were still on the queue trying to vote and they've already announced the results. I'm not calling anybody. If you say he's a former military leader and then became president, I didn't call anybody's name. But I remember that day in Ebute Metta in 2007. The Yaradua election is the worst I have ever seen in my entire life. We were still on the queue. They don't announce the result. We still the queue. Baba, we the queue. They don't announce the result for us. Yeah. And today, the person is a moralist. I don't know how politicians do it. That when they get into office, they are suddenly blind. And when they leave, they become the moral standard for every other person that is coming. I don't know how they do it. That needs to be studied. I'm trying to understand it. No, I'm trying to understand it. Because if I'm going to do politics, that is probably one of the things that I need to study.
So if you are going to do politics, aren't you doing politics already?
Not yet.
Okay. But I'm curious, in all of this, because the way these things usually work is you come out, you support somebody the way you have done wholeheartedly. In fact, your own past wholeheartedly. I doubt that there is anybody who is involved in the political space who doesn't know your support for the president. The president has not seen me. That's what I was asking. Baba don't see you. Baba never see me. They pay you. You don't get. Doesn't that hurt? That the person where I won. With all due respect, the only thing that comes to my mind is something my father used to say. And With all due respect, I don't mean the president. I'm just
No,
saying.
I understand.
This man that I am, they are killing me over the man. The man hasn't even acknowledged me.
I love the man's politics. It doesn't mean that it is the best that we can get. But it's just that the man understands the terrain where he's functioning. And for me, I'm a friend with his son. Seyi Tinubu is my person. You understand? And he knows that I will not just wake up and come and sit and say, I want to come and see him. No. When we see, we see. Do you understand? When I see the right thing, I'll tell him that this is right. When I see the one that is not right, I tell him, see, we need to work on the National Orientation Agency, for example, that it needs, we need to see more from them. Because we need serious orientation in Nigeria. Serious. We need serious orientation. Because I'm afraid for the next generation. Any organization that doesn't support you to be free thinking is a cult.
Okay. Define one of those. Define one of those as we have it in Nigeria.
Obedience now. Really. I don't like to... Because I know that this your interview is going to come with a lot of backlash.
Tell me an essay, you are laughing. Okay, all this. So somebody will say, I've heard them say this about you. Tinubu is good. His government is good. You day here, they deceive us. Meanwhile, your family, as you have said, they're in the UK. Why don't you bring your own family back to stay here? Why you support?
That is why I said that a lot of them don't support free thinking, free will. My wife left Nigeria to go and study in the UK in 2019.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoyed the show. You're welcome to the final word or the last word tonight or this morning or this afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. There's something funny that has happened to me almost every time that I drive, and I've always wanted to share it with you. Have you ever been the first person to get to a red light? You overtook other cars on the road and you got to the red light and you were there. Only for the cars that you overtook earlier to catch up and overtake you just as the light turns green. They get there just as the light turns green, and while you're trying to gain momentum, they go past you with their momentum, even though you passed them minutes ago. They just glide past with theirs. This or that is life. We always compare ourselves. We're always comparing ourselves to other people with others who seem to be doing better than we are, forgetting that we are all on different journeys. Look, the fact that someone overtakes you does not mean that they will get home before you. Their own destination might just be around the corner. Yours might be hours away, and vice versa. Your own destination might just be 1 minute away from that traffic light, while they will still have to drive for 10 hours. But eventually, everyone gets home. As my people in Ajawa is in the greater Ogbomoso area of Oyo State. As the people of Ajawa say, Asure tete o ni koja ile, asure tete kan o koja ile ri, arìnrìn-gbẹ̀rẹ̀ kan ò sì ní sùn sọ́nà. Which means that no matter how fast you drive, no matter how fast anybody drives, they're not going to speed past their house. And the person who drives slow, no matter how easy you take it, you are also going to get home. There's nobody that's going to be so slow that it will not get home. Everybody will get home, whether you drive fast or you drive slow. So stop measuring your life by someone else's speed or against someone else's speed. Focus on your own destination. And look, when I say destination, I don't mean those set long-term goals, set medium-term goals, set short-term goals, all those goal-setting drills that motivational speakers always push. Heck, let's be honest. That stuff has obviously worked for some people, perhaps for a lot of people, but it is not a universal fix and it does not work for everybody. I have tried it. That thing frustrated me for years as I set unrealistic goals. Some of us are destined for things that are so big that our minds can't even begin to imagine them. For example, how could Joseph, from the Bible story, how could Joseph a young Hebrew boy in Palestine, how could he have ever set a goal to become the prime minister of Egypt? He didn't even understand what he was saying. So if traditional goal setting does not work for you as it has not worked for me, stop beating yourself over the head. It works for some people. It is not a one size fits all. What all of us need is a sense of purpose. All of us need a sense of purpose. Once you have a sense of where you're meant to go in life, then set short-term, project-based, realistic milestones to help you move forward. Because when you measure yourself by your own purpose, instead of comparing yourself with other people, you realize something very important, that you are actually doing better than you thought. That you're doing far better than you thought. That's why the people of Ajawa also say, Teruba monuro ni yo mokpeda. Teruba monuro yo mokpeda. Even a slave will find things to be thankful for if he truly reflects. Now, hear this. When you envy someone, you don't get to pick and choose. This matter of you just want their money or you just want their marriage, you just can't want one thing. If you envy a person, you must also want all areas and all parts and all facets of their lives. You must want their marriage. You must want their health. You must want their family. You must want their stress. You must want their regrets. You must want their sleepless nights as you are wanting their money and whatever it is that is attracting you or that you are envying. You just can't choose one part and pick and choose. No, you must want all of them. And once you have it that way, you find that you are not as attracted to them as you thought. Because comparison without full context is just deception. Look, as we round up, let me tell you a story. We were once driving from Ajawa, the same Ajawa, back to Lagos a couple of years ago, when a Mercedes-Benz 190 overtook us at high speed, weaving recklessly in and out of traffic, just overtaking everybody, just going like that. Now, about 10 minutes later, we ran into traffic. And when we finally got to the front, after about 15 minutes in traffic, just moving slowly, what my people call sukere fakere, just move slowly. Guess what? It was that same Mercedes 190 that had overtaken us. It was that same Mercedes 190 that was now involved in an accident, a ghastly accident. Thankfully, no one died. There were a few minor injuries, but the lesson is clear. Just because someone seems to be going faster than you are does not mean that they are going the right way or that they will get there before you. And even if they are, what is your own concern with that? They are going to their own house. They're going to their own destination. The chances are that you're not going to the same place. I am confident that that day I got home before that driver of that Mercedes 190, and I got home in one piece and in peace, or at peace. So to come full circle and to finish where we started, everybody eventually gets home. Just focus on your own road and your own destination. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. Before we go, I'd like to thank the people without whom this would not have been possible. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Kehinde Onabanjo, Finesse Events, the #1 event coordinator in Nigeria, the owners of White Stone on Billings Way, Oregun, Ikeja. Thank you very, very much. I'd like to thank Precious Oshideko, Dr. Precious Oshideko and Dr. Damola Oshideko. And I also like to thank you for watching. Remember, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you on the next one.